This is a human body and it's made of different body parts. But there's one part which controls the body, which is the brain. Was a no-brainer, right? Now this is the brain. And if brain controls me, I need to know how I can control my brain so that I can control myself back. So let me take my brain out and put it on the table here. That's the brain. I believe that brain is divided into two parts. Active mind, passive mind. Passive mind, active mind. I believe that active mind is only 10% of the mind. I believe 90% is the passive mind and subconscious mind. Why we call active mind is because I directly control only my active mind, which means only 10% of my mind. But my active mind can be used to control the 90% of my mind. So this is like a love triangle. Let's call it a control triangle. Me, active mind, passive mind. Now you know what's a passive mind? Passive mind is a player and a recorder. Like a cinematic player and a cinematic recorder. Passive mind is a foolish mind. Passive mind has no mind of its own. It's a buddhu mind. Now, active mind can be used to visualize daydreams. So whatever we daydream gets recorded in the passive mind, because passive mind is a recorder and a player, which means whatever daydream I am going to see, it is not going to question you. It is not going to judge you. Whatever you record, the job is very simple. Record. I will play it back. Where will it play it back? It will play it back on my body. So today I'm going to attempt to tell you a concept. Whatever we daydream plays back on my body. So let me explain this with the concept of falling in love. How we fall in love. Okay? All of you joined the college. You must have joined. You joined this year or last year? This year. So when I was in college, you know what's the biggest tension in life when you walk into a college? What is the big question? So let's say you're sitting here at the introduction orientation. First day you walked into the college. So what do you look around? You think, I hope the faculty is good? You hope, will I make a good career? You know what I thought? Yeah, how's the crowd of the college? I want to coexist in a college where the crowd is good, which means there are smarter boys and girls around, because that makes your education experience happier, probably life happier. So you go to the college and you spot a beautiful face sitting somewhere there. So let's say it's the first day of your college, there's an orientation happening. You spot a face. Now beauty lies in the eyes of beholder. You use your eyes. Eyes, they say, is about 500 to 560 megapixels. And naturally, we have about 2 to 3x of optical zoom. So you use a zoom and look at a face that you find beautiful, mentally zoom it a little more, and unknowingly, subconsciously, take a photograph of that beautiful face and store it in the back of your mind in your hard disk. You don't even realize that. You get attracted to somebody, look at that person, take a photograph and go home. You go home, you switch on the television. There's this new movie that has come, Jat and Juliet 3. And there is this song, Tu Juliet Jatdi Ni, Tere to Nazar Hatdi Ni. So now starts the creative visualization. You imagine yourself in the song. So what you do is, with your daydreaming, you replace your face with Daljit Dosanjh's face, and you replace and you pick up that photograph and put it on Neeru Bajwa's face. So here starts the magic. Now you both are singing Jat and Juliet in your mind, in your active daydream. Now this passive mind, The innocent mind, what is it? It's a player and a recorder. It is recording and it is going to play out back on your body. So when you daydream a song to Juliet Jaddini so many times with that pretty face, your mind starts falling in love because you have seen a dream. Next day you go to college, you probably go to the canteen, and out there the girl doesn't even know you exist. You find the girl, and so yesterday you'd saved a JPEG image, now it's a video file, an MP4 file. So now you see the girl walking from there in slow motion, wind blowing her hair away, and you're walking in slow motion. The slow motion is in your mind. She's walking in slow motion, she does not know you exist, and then you record more data, go back home, again when that song comes, you replay that in your mind. So you're using your active mind, daydreaming, recording a music video. It is basically mental cinema with consequences, and that mental cinema plays back on your body and you fall in love. Similarly, if some of you are on friendship apps, okay, so when you open your phone, apps like Tinder, Bimble, Hinge, you swipe and you see a face, okay? So do you instantly like the face? You live a very short daydream. At that moment, you daydream that if I'm going to call her and meet her or him in a restaurant, will it look good? Yes, no, probably. If the daydream is beautiful, you right swipe and click. All right? So every decision that we are taking, we are seeing a short daydream. When I was younger, there used to be the concept of arranged marriage. Have you heard of it? Okay. I also had an arranged marriage, but I arranged it myself. So in our days, what happened, typically, Tulika ma'am, the typical scene is the girl walks in, ladka, ladki, parents are all sitting there, the girl is walking with a tray and a teapot on it. You only have a very short window to look at the girl and the girl to look at the boy. Itna hi time hota tha, tuck, tuck. Now in that tuck, you need to take a picture and the girl will daydream and the boy will daydream. Will she look good with me? Will she be a healthy partner? Physically, emotionally? Will I look good if I go on a holiday with her and pictures on Instagram are posted with her? There are a lot of daydreams we are seeing when we are selecting a love partner, right? Similarly, let's say if we have a breakup or we lose somebody, if we are romanticizing the beautiful past, our active mind is playing that daydream on our passive mind. Passive mind is a recorder and a player. So the more we want to forget our past, but if we play it more, it will play it back on us. Bhool nahi payenge. Stop daydreaming there, stop recording there, and it will stop playing back on my body. Similarly, the concept of smoking. How do you get hooked onto a cigarette? Because if you look at a cigarette, what is a cigarette? I'm not talking about how you get addicted to cigarette. I'm talking about how you get hooked onto a cigarette. You can get addicted later, but how do you pick up your first cigarette? And it happens because of the daydreams. Now, what is a cigarette? Cigarette is basically tobacco ash with some chemicals. If you know, if a cigarette is burned, there are about 7,000 chemicals burning. In a cigarette, there are 69 carcinogens, and one carcinogen is hydrogen cyanide, which was used by Nazis in the gas chambers. It stops the supply from the oxygen into your body. I've got a dog at home, Jordan. He can eat anything. Labradors eat everything. But if you give it a piece of cigarette, it sniffs and runs away. A little boy does not like. It's a smelly thing. It's poison. But how do you get hooked onto it? Because you are made to see a daydream. That's how you get hooked onto it. So you're watching your favorite film. A Dawn is standing here. A beautiful girl who's beautifully and barely dressed is standing next to him. A shiny sports car on the right side. And this guy is smoking. Okay? He takes out the gun, shoots, and smokes. Bina smoke ke shoot karega, personality kam lagega. So what you do is, you start imagining that daydream that if I pick up a cigarette, that's how you get hooked onto it. You will look cool. Back in 2000, cigarette advertisements were allowed, and we as ad professionals used to make cigarette ads where we would use visuals like horses, muscles, sunsets, tuxedos, and even women's lips. So that when you live that daydream, you think this is what I want to hold, right? So the more you daydream, so when ad agencies make smoking ads, they are not selling you tobacco, they are selling you personality. I'm talking on the power of daydreams and how daydream is actually making every selection of our life. You buy a perfume, now what's a perfume? Body odor attraction is a mechanism of our evolution. Animals excrete odor. So when you go and buy perfume, there is this lovely lady with a strip in the hand, she sprays it and puts it under your nose. You smell it, you close your eyes. And what do? When you smell it, you imagine a daydream. The daydream is if I am going to smell like this with her or him or in my college or in a party, this is how I am going to look like. I am daydreaming a perception of my own image based on the odor. So I buy a perfume where my daydream clicks with me. Most of us don't actually have favorite colors. हम बोल देते हैं बोलने के लिए, but we don't have favorite colors. So how do we buy a shirt or an outfit? We look into the mirror, look at ourselves. If I walk in with this shirt and this t-shirt into my college, Juliet will be happy. Right? So you buy it. You're daydreaming and you're buying. Similarly, cars. A lot of people have passion for cars. How do you buy a car? You buy a car. So you imagine yourself in a 10-camera multicam setup. From the front camera, my car is coming and zooming. Okay, from here, I'm wearing sunglasses. So you imagine and daydream yourself in a car. And if the daydream is good, you end up buying that car. Human mind does not just make passive decisions, it changes us physiologically. I have read stories that people in a hypnotic trance, people were touched with a piece of ice and they were told this is hot metal. You know what did the brain do? It formed a blister on the skin. Physiological change. Passive mind was fooled with a daydream that what is being touched is hot metal. In reality, it was a piece of ice. But chala pad gaya, it formed a blister. You must have heard of placebo effect. When you tell a patient that a medicine works. So I read a study about patients bleeding ulcers. 10 patients in this room, 10 patients in this room. Same medicine given to both. First group were told this medicine is successful, it works. Second group was told this is an experimental medicine. The first group showed 70% cured results. The second group showed 20% cured results, only 80% not cured. Reality was the medicine had no medicinal value. It was just plain powder. You've heard of schizophrenia, right? I have read studies. Schizophrenia in a simple word is split personality. So in one split of personality, if you daydream and believe that you are a diabetic patient, your sugar levels show up more on the meter. In the second split of your personality, if you believe and daydream you're not a diabetic, your actually sugar levels go down, which means with the help of imagination and making your passive mind believe, your physiology changes. And lastly, I want to tell you one very interesting concept in psychology called scotoma. Scotoma means if you want to see something, your mind ensures that your eyes will see it. मतलब अगर किसी चीज को देखना चाहते हो तो ही आंखें देखेंगी. But if you don't want to see something, your mind ensures your eyes don't see it. So when I was growing up, and I have people from my generation here, we had only 2 or 3 TV channels, and my favorite show was Baywatch. And any idea who was the lady lead of the serial? Pamela Anderson was my favorite when I was your age, okay? For obvious reasons. So I would wait 1 week for Baywatch to come. So now is the come when Pamela Anderson is coming out of the water, okay? The water, she's coming out of the water, so the water is going down. The water reaches here, reaches here, reaches here, reaches here, and exactly when it reaches here, my mom calls from the kitchen, says, Rohit, please get some salt. I don't want to go now. I want the water to go down further. I don't want to go and get salt, but mom, hey, thappad padega. So I go to the kitchen and I stand at the kitchen. Mom, I can't see salt. Mom comes, gives me a whack and says, it's lying right under your nose. If that were to be a snake, it would have bitten you. And I go back and watch the television. All the water has gone down the drain. What am I telling you? Like it or not, daydreams will run you. So either daydreams will choose you or you choose the daydreams. Every possession you have, every love you have, everything, every success, everything in your life depends upon daydreams. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. My name is Rohit and I am a professional daydreamer. Thank you.